Hi there, welcome to this brief overview of the main functionality ITM Platform offers. As you can see, we have the 4 default access licenses for ITM Platform. We have Full Access, Project Manager, Team Member, and Project Guest. Today I'll be jumping into the Full Access environment for you. So this is the ITM Platform homepage. This is the first page the user will see upon logging in. In the top left, we have the navigation panel. So this is where users can navigate to any page within ITM Platform. For example, we have My Desktop, Management, Organization, and Configuration tabs. The user will then notice the personal board. So this is mimicking the Agile Kanban board. Users can see their projects and their tasks and make status changes if necessary. There's also a favorite section, so if users are working on a particular project and they want to make that their favorite, this can be added down below just for ease of access. And in the right here, we've got the social collaboration panel. So this is where users can talk to one another, communicate about particular items or about a particular task, and make comments. You can also filter and see which messages you'd like from which particular projects. Or you could close this just for a nice dashboard view. In the top right here is the profile area. So this is where you can make changes and customize your profile. Today's demonstration, I'll mainly want to focus on some of the management features, but I'll just take you through a couple of the desktop ones, for example the timesheet. So this is the timesheet. This is where users can enter hours and report hours for particular tasks. As you can see, we've got a project here and some tasks underneath. And the users can simply enter their hours. They can repeat the same time for an extended period. They can make comments on a particular task if they're having any issues. And if they're the task manager, they can actually make progress reports directly from the timesheet. You will also notice the time report. So this is just a historical log of all the user's time entries. You'll notice there's an authorizations. So this is for any authorizations that the user needs to make for any project status changes. And these will be found here. You can also create a new project directly from this shortcut, whether it be a classic, Kanban, or a copy from an existing template. So now I just want to jump straight into the main functionality in the project management section. So I'll jump straight into portfolio. So the portfolio will just give you an overview of how your projects, programs, and services within your ITM Platform environment are doing. So you'll see them in this sort of list format. You can see we've got a program here with a few projects underneath, some other projects, and then it'll give you some parameters about how the projects are doing. So status, priority, what type of project it is, start and end dates, all sorts of different parameters. And one thing to note with ITM Platform is actually these parameters, status, priority, these are actually all customizable for your organization. So in the configuration area, you can actually customize to your own terminology or change it to your own ways of working. And this is really to facilitate user onboarding. So when users, such as team members, enter the platform and they see their own terminology that they're used to, this will just make onboarding the platform a lot smoother. And so you can see the similar thing in the financial analysis area. So this will just give you a financial overview, sort of portfolio view in terms of costs and revenues. And you can see a bit of information about how much complete each project is, compare the workforce and purchases budget, and similarly for the revenue. You can also see in the schedule how each of your projects are doing along the timeline. So essentially, this is just a sort of portfolio Gantt chart, if you will. So you can see your projects and programs on the left, and you can see the Gantt chart on the right, and you can just see how each of your projects are progressing. And you can also notice dependencies as well, so you can simply drag and drop project dependencies and create dependencies like that. So this just gives you an idea. You can also notice the progress tab. So this is if you want to see how much progress each of your projects in your portfolio are doing. And finally, we have a dashboard. So this just gives you a whole host of KPIs about your portfolio. So if we scroll down here, we've got examples like budget component by business process, your component list, a whole host of different performance indicators for you. You can determine which ones you want to see in your portfolio dashboard. As I'll come to in a minute, you'll see we have project-specific dashboards which focus just on the information aggregated for that particular project, whereas this information is the portfolio summary. So if we jump into projects now, When you first jump into this area, you'll get your project list. So this is all of your projects that you are involved in. And you'll see it's similar to what we've seen in the portfolio list. We get our projects and we see some parameters, what type, status, approval, how it's progressing. And you also have an extensive filtering system up above where you can filter quite in depth. And I'll just jump straight into a project to give you an overview of what that looks like. So the first page you'll enter is the General tab. So this tab is where you define all the project information, so name, status, what department it belongs to, the priority, description, start and end dates. You can also link business goals to a particular project. So this is quite useful when we start talking about programs and linking different projects by the same business goal. You can also set relationships between projects as well. So if you have a particular sponsor of a project, or maybe you've got you're working with an external client or on behalf of an external client, you can just set relationships between projects. And you'll see here we've got a whole host of different tabs for managing the project. So if we jump into the team area, this is where you can manage your project team. So as you can see here, we've got a few members. You can simply add a new team member, like so. You can also allocate a role to your team members. So they can either be project manager, team member, or guest. So guest will just have a very limited view into the project and won't be able to make changes. But then you can actually set their role per task. So you can see all the tasks that make up this project on the left. And you can actually give them a role for each of the tasks. So either a task manager or simply a task member. Within this team area, you can also estimate hours. So the project manager can come in here and actually give time estimates for each of the tasks. They can also load the availability of their team members to see if there's any capacity issues with the allocation of time. And if we go across one more, you can actually compare the time entries to the estimates, and then you can save and accept time entries from here as well. We've also got the budget section. So this is where you can actually allocate your project budget. As you can see, you can click on Edit Top-Down Budget, and then you can allocate your budget either by internal team and calculating the hours per professional category that's allocated to this project, or you can simply allocate a purchases budget for this particular project as well, and then save that. You can then drill down into your top-down budget and see how the allocation has been made. You can also see there's a bottom-up estimate, so this is actually calculated by the system. So the system will calculate the hours reported by each of your users, and then it'll multiply by the professional category and their cost, and come up with an estimate for this project. You also notice there's actual values and last period end close as well. Then we have the Gantt chart. So this is ITM Platform's Gantt chart. On the left, obviously, you'll see all your tasks. You can either have summary tasks, milestones, or regular tasks, and then get some information such as start, finish, percentage completed. And you'll notice one feature here is the import to MS Project feature. So a lot of clients come over from MS Project and maybe they've got a lot of Gantt charts that they've already created and they don't want to lose that. So you can simply import your MS Project Gantt directly into ITM Platform from here. It'll automatically map and then you can start working directly from within ITM Platform. You'll also notice there's dependencies, and these can be created again by simply dragging and dropping. And you can also update tasks by dependency if there's any overruns as well. If you want to manage a task in more detail, you can simply go into the task section and click through into a task. We also have purchases and revenue. So this is where you can manage the project purchases. These are managed in budget accounts, so you can set a budget account with a particular amount and manage individual purchases down below. Similarly with revenue, we can manage these here. We can see our current budget, and then you can manage individual revenues down below here if there's any incomings to a particular project in the same way as purchases. We also have a risks and issues management area. So this is obviously where you can manage your risks and issues. As you can see here in the risk area, we have our list. We can see who the manager is, and then we can see what the impact, probability, and level. Again, these parameters can be customized in the configuration area to your own ways of scoring. Obviously, different organizations have different ways of scoring risks, so these can be actually customized to your own organization's liking. Similarly, when we come to issues, we can add a new issue, describe the issue name, what type of issue it is. You can see what tasks are affected by this particular issue. Then we have progress. So this is where the project manager can actually come and create progress reports, and then they can also see some graphics indicating how well the project is progressing and compared with the percentage expected. And you can see all of the project manager's project reports down below here. And there's also an earned value analysis section down below here as well. You can attach documents to a particular project. ITM Platform offers unlimited storage, and all file types can be attached to a project. And then finally we have the dashboard. So like I was saying earlier, this will just show KPIs specifically for this project. So it'll give you an indication using the information aggregated from this project, and just give you some performance indicators to see how it's progressing. I won't go into all of them in detail in this demo. So now I'd like to go to programs. So like I was saying before, programs are just groups of projects that are grouped together by the same business goal or business criteria. And so again, it looks very similar to what we've seen before. We've got the programs list, and it'll give you some parameters. But we simply jump into this growth projects program. Intuitively, you'd assume growth projects program will be all the projects to do with growing the business. And so again, we come to the general tab where we can define our program, give it some program type, program status, start and end dates. You'll see we've got the business goals area where you can actually link your business goals that you've set up to this program. You can manage the budget, and you can also link projects to this program. But the main functionality I wanted to show you in programs is actually the strategic alignment functionality. So this allows you to actually create prioritizations within ITM Platform. So basically there's a few ways to do it. You can do a business goal prioritization, component prioritization, and component selection. So I'll just show you this one for an example. There's a few different types, ways you can actually prioritize. I'll just show you the pairwise. In this example, you're simply comparing your business goals by one another and indicating which ones are more important to you than the other, using the arrows here. And you can see in the top left we've got a consistency ratio. So this is just ITM Platform telling you whether or not you're being consistent with your choices or not. We've got component prioritization, so that's comparing projects either with business goals or with the projects you've selected. And then finally we've got component selection. So this is actually a graphical representation of your selection of which projects you want to proceed with. And this is quite a powerful feature of ITM Platform. So if we look at this middle graph, the efficient frontier, for example, our position is quite far from being efficient. So obviously we're selecting a few projects that maybe aren't bringing enough value or quite high cost. So if we just switch a couple of these projects around, maybe bring in some of the lower cost projects and update the charts, you can now see we're actually on the efficient frontier. So given our current selection, we are being efficient. And this is just quite a useful tool maybe to present to the board of directors to say, okay, maybe we should go with this selection of projects, and this is proved by this component selection here. We've also got the schedule, again, like we've seen before. It just shows you how each of your components are progressing along the timeline. You can also see progress reports and manage your team as well. Finally, I'll show you a couple of others, for example, the resources section. So this is the resource management area of ITM Platform. You can do it a couple of ways. You can either manage by project and services in a more planning sort of resource management way. And you can drill down into the projects and drill right down and plan your projects and services here. Or you can see the resources by professional category or user. So you can see all your engineers. You can drill down into their projects and directly into their tasks. And this way you can see what they've been allocated, what their availability is like, or maybe if there's any that are over capacity, and that'll be indicated by red instead of green. Finally, I'll quickly show you the reporting area. So basically any information you want from ITM Platform, you can extract it in the reporting area. There are some default reports that are already created here that you can use, but it's quite simple to create your own custom report. Simply add a new report. Select the entity where you want to extract the information from, so projects. And on the left, you'll find all the information from within your project. So you can simply drop down here, select the name of your project, and then you can simply drag and drop any information you want into your custom report. And all the information can be found here on the left. Simply drag and drop some elements, then save your report. Now this report's saved, you can actually reference this. You can extract the data from this report into an Excel file just to maybe start working on it from within Excel, create some custom dashboards, maybe using a BI tool, or you can simply view this information within ITM Platform itself. So that's all I really wanted to show you guys today, just the main features of ITM Platform. If you want a further in-depth demonstration, or you'd like to trial this solution out for yourself, please don't hesitate to send us a quick email and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you for listening.